Welcome to Halo Talk, a podcast for the modern Catholic. Join us in our conversations where we seek answers, hope, and most importantly, halos. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Halo Talk, where faith meets real life. It's Christmas Eve, and as we gather on this holy night, we're diving into a conversation about what makes this season so special. We'll explore how to prepare our hearts for Christmas, the traditions that bring deep meaning to the celebration, and how we can live out the joy of Christmas, not just tonight, but all year long. Whether you're looking for spiritual inspiration or just a fresh perspective on the holidays, we're glad you're here. Let's jump in. Okay, I'm Kelly. So when I was looking this over, I said, why are we doing this again? I was looking over the show notes and it went over my head that I wasn't reading Advent, right? Preparing for the Christmas season, right? It's not the same as Advent. Very
Well,
similar.
Advent is preparing for Christmas, and it's been 4 weeks now since we began Advent, and now we're here tonight as we await the birth of Jesus Christ. It's like, how did we live our Advent? Are we prepared or not? I think last time when we talked about Advent, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I like to always see Advent as like preparation for prom. How are you getting ready for prom? You start planning ahead where you're going to go eat, what limo you're going to get, who's going to go with you, who's going, who are you taking, what am I going to wear, all of that. And I think I remember when I went to prom a long, long time ago, there was people that planned for prom, and when prom came, it didn't go that way, or something was missing, something was wrong, the dress didn't fit.
My limo broke down on the side of the freeway.
Exactly, or something happens. So how are you today, Denise?
How am I doing? Reflecting on my season of Advent. Let's see. I have been in a state of reflection. I did miss the third Sunday of Advent.
Ooh,
So that was a big, no for me and a disappointment, to be honest. And aside from that, though, I was really experiencing it in a whole new way this year, right? It's the first year that I really have been a part of the church. So it's just been, I don't know how you say it. I'm just like on this really high right now. I'm exhausted with where my life is and all the things that I'm trying to prepare for at the end of the year. But spiritually, my soul's at peace right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't even know what to expect for Christmas time. I don't know what's gonna happen at that time, but I wanna know how did your Advent go?
Spiritually, I think it went well. I did pray a lot more. Maybe not as much as I wanted to, but I did increase in prayer. I did attend different events that helped me prepare for Advent. At home, I think I missed the mark. I wanted to have my children and my wife a little bit more involved
Mhm.
in the spiritual aspect of Advent, and I think I fell a little bit short on that. But overall, I think I'm happy and I'm okay with the preparation spiritually that I had for this Advent. Now, when we talk about the other preparation for Christmas, which is the Christmas shopping and Christmas plans, I'm very happy there. My wife, kind of took care of all the gifts and what we're getting and all of that, and I was able to focus more on my kids' gifts. And we're planning, a good holy night dinner with some friends and family. So that'll be later on tonight. So I'm excited about that as well.
Oh, wow, okay. You have everything sorted out, all the really stressful stuff.
Well, yes, it's not just me, with my wife and the family. So I feel really, really good with this Advent. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And
Mhm.
that brings us to like tradition, because what do you usually do for Christmas? Do you celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, or do you celebrate it on Christmas Day?
We do both.
Do both.
The entire family tries to get together on Christmas Eve, and that's where the tamales are made.
Yeah, that'd be more of a Hispanic thing, right?
Yeah.
Most of the Latinos, the Hispanics, they celebrate Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of like the appropriate time to celebrate because you wanna be awake at midnight, right? That's was our concept in doing it. It's like we want to be awake at midnight to be able to say,
What do you guys do at midnight? Does your family have a tradition that they do at midnight, or is it just
no,
Feliz Navidad?
Feliz Navidad. Yeah. It's just kind of like Happy New Year.
There's different traditions. I don't know if you've heard.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
I'm interested because I don't know what we're going to do this year.
one of the traditions that a lot of people do is they go to midnight mass, and they literally celebrate mass right at midnight, which is celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. So that's one tradition people have, and in the Hispanic Latino traditions, at midnight Jesus is born, so they actually bring out a little baby Jesus,
Oh.
and they cradle him, lo arrullan, es arrullar al niño Jesús. So a lot of families have that tradition where they bring out the baby Jesus, and first, they sing to him, they put him asleep, and they pass him around. Everybody in the family, everybody in the gathering has a few seconds with baby Jesus, just kind of cradling him as a tradition that he has
Sweet.
entered the house. And usually the person, maybe the grandma or the grandpa, they're the ones that actually put baby Jesus on the manger, now officially born as we celebrate now the Christmas season. So those are some of
There's options.
there's options.
I don't know how my family, my tios and my grandpa's going to feel doing that after never doing it.
Yeah.
They're probably like, what are you doing with
And it works for some families. From other families, it's just Feliz Navidad, hug each other, maybe open the gifts at midnight. Some families choose to open gifts the
Or s-
next morning.
Or even like singing happy birthday, right? It's something that we're big on birthdays and saying something that we're grateful that Jesus has done for us this year. One thing,
Yeah. So there's a lot of traditions
different
out there.
things.
And obviously the food. I'm in there for the food.
Show up for the food.
I show up for the food. Jesus is just the cherry on the top. Oh, just kidding. No, I think we also have very beautiful and very flavorful traditions when it comes to Christmas. What does your family usually do for Christmas?
Yeah, like I said, like it's pretty much just eating, playing games, opening gifts. Everyone's old now, so we don't do gifts. We just do Secret Santa. Like everyone gets one gift, one big gift.
That's another tradition. That's, the Secret Santa.
Yeah, yeah, it's considered tradition. It's just an easy way to not have to do a bunch of Christmas shopping for us. We're tired of it. So that, and then we do the white elephant, which that one's the one that's like it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what about you? What do you guys do?
For my children, we usually buy them gifts, and they get big gifts from us and from the whole family. But we also do the Secret Santa. Now, with our family, with my wife's side of the family, last year was a different year because we decided to do the Secret Santa on Christmas Day. So we still get together Christmas Eve, have the tamales, the pozole, the good food, but then we don't do the gifts till the following morning. We come back and we do the Secret Santa gift exchange.
That's smart because sometimes the gifts take so long.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tired.
And you're tired and you just want to you just want to relax.
Yeah, so the next morning we all come together and we do the Secret Santa and, eat the recalentado and all of that.
It's like Christmas part 2. It's funny how other people celebrate on the day. I'd be like, we missed it. We missed it. That's how I feel. We just celebrate on Christmas Day because it's his whole day.
Yeah.
But the excitement comes, like the anticipation.
Right.
No, it's kind of like New Year.
Yeah.
The New Year, that feeling of it's starting over again.
Definitely.
Fresh start. So these are some good traditions.
And then traditionally, also with my family, Denise, we started doing this, not forgetting to remember that it's a celebration of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Because of all these traditions, because of all these fun things that we do, the food, the gifts, we could lose track of what we're really celebrating. I don't know if it's happened to you before, but I'm guilty of that, of celebrating a Christmas and completely forgetting the reason for the season, as they say, right? And for us, the tradition is coming to Mass on Christmas Eve. We do a Christmas Eve Mass, and then we come back on Christmas Day morning and do Mass again.
Oh, wow. And the kids, they do that too?
The kids do that too, yes.
Wow. And, that's so nice that your family's on board with that. I don't know, like I said, we're all slowly reverting back to the faith one by one, but there's still the majority of the family that's not there yet.
Mm.
And so for us to implement all these things and traditions, I know it's going to be we're going to get some pushback
Mm.
doing it. So all we can do is ourselves, what we want to do. And if people want to join in on it, then they can. But if they don't, that's also okay. Because I know I know my mom's going to ask me to go to mass on Christmas Eve. However, I'm sure they have some that's not just midnight, right?
Yeah, they don't.
Which I'll probably do that.
And we do the early one. We do the earliest possible. We're at our parish in Boniface. I believe it's at 4 p.m. And
Okay.
that's known as the children's Christmas Eve Mass. So there's a choir of children that do the music, and so we do that one with the kids, so they get to see other kids, do the music and the choir, so we do that on Christmas Eve, and then we go to dinner to my in-laws, and then we usually come to the 10 a.m. Christmas morning mass.
I see. So there's different alternatives
Yeah,
that
there's
you
different
could do.
alternatives. But the midnight mass is a beautiful mass to come to. When I was single, I would come to the midnight mass. I mean, and you'll be surprised, it's pretty full. There's a lot of people here at midnight celebrating the mass. And it's a beautiful experience that I would invite anybody that has not done it before to make it a plan and attend the midnight Christmas mass. If you missed it this year, maybe that could be something that you prepare yourself and plan, maybe as a family, to come to the midnight mass and attend mass at midnight. He is the reason for the celebration.
Yes.
No, I think one of my friends, Fortune, he found this letter from Jesus, and he recorded it with his voice, and that's what it talks about. How so many people celebrate Christmas but don't invite him, which they're celebrating his
It was
birth.
birthday.
And it just kind of makes you reflect, like, how would you feel if someone threw a big party for your birthday and they're happy that you're born, but you're not invited?
Yeah, but you're changing the mindset of people, right? Especially when this is completely new. And so we're kind of like stuck in the middle where we're like, okay, we're there. We're spiritually there. We're ready to give it all for him. But when other people, especially the host, is not there, it's like to hijack someone's event. And the thing is, my mom and I don't have a big old house to invite everyone. I wish we did, but we don't have the space. So we're doing it at my sister's house. And I don't know what she's going to want to do, but it's kind of you're stuck in a hard spot sometimes, you know?
I would learn. I thank you for sharing that, because I would learn from what the church, how the Catholic Church does things. A lot. I don't know if you heard, but Jesus was not born on December 25th.
I did because I still think his birthday's on March 2nd.
Um, so why do we celebrate Christmas on the 25th, or why does the world celebrate?
No, I don't. So,
The Catholic Church in the year 336 established December 25th as the official birthday of Jesus. And the reason was because different churches around the world celebrated in different dates. Some celebrated on January 6th, some on March 1st, some in October, some on December 25th. And the church, with the authority that it has, finally declared, because they wanted that unity. We are one
mhm.
church, so it's not appropriate for everybody to be celebrating on different dates throughout the year. So they chose on the year 336. That's when there's an official document of the church saying, moving forward, the entire church, the Universal Catholic Church, will celebrate Christmas on December 25th. The reason why doesn't really say why,
Uh-huh.
but we know that it was officially put into paper on that year.
Excuse me.
So
Thank you. Wow, that's interesting. And I wonder why they like hung on to wintertime when he was born in the spring. Maybe they didn't have the necessary information to know it was springtime.
Well, a lot of, especially anti-Christians and anti-Catholics, would say, "Oh, they did that because that was the biggest pagan celebration date. That's when the pagans celebrated their sun god, which is their highest god. So the Catholic Church was just trying to impose, their religion to everybody and kind of overtake that. And it's not that the church imposed it; it's that a lot of the times, as I said, we should learn from the church. The church uses what's out there in other religions and in the culture, and they
Mhm.
use it to evangelize. And is it possible that they put Christmas on that day because there was already a big celebration, and we're just kind of pointing it to the right celebration? It is possible. Is that wrong? I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong for you to use what's around you to evangelize people. Like in your case, you're saying you're going to your sister's house where, maybe they're not spiritually there to celebrate it, but maybe you could remind them or find little spaces in the night just to make little soft reminders of why you're there.
Uh-huh.
And that's what the church did. Even when the Roman Empire took over, and it became a Catholic empire, a lot of these pagan temples became Catholic churches because the church
Mhm.
wanted to use the beauty that was already there to point to the true one, true God that we worship. So there's,
Right.
I would say, there's nothing wrong with celebrating Christmas, like the secular world celebrates it, but we should be open, especially us that we're saying that we're already disciples. We should be open to using that and kind of point.
And that's interesting, right? Because you're right. Like, I'm sure the pagans that were celebrating the sun gods, their purpose is like sun god, sun god, sun god, like through and through. However, for like Christians or even non-Christians that celebrate Christmas, they don't even point to him in a lot of ways, right? If they're not practicing
Right.
Catholics a lot of times or practicing Christians. Um, like then focus on Santa and the elves if that's what don't say it's like I don't know, celebrate a different day, right? It's of course everyone has a right to celebrate, but it's interesting that I say it for those that I've encountered that they fight it so much when it's like you really know the reason, right? Then maybe don't celebrate on this day or maybe celebrate something else or
I want to see that there's still hope for those people that even reject, wanting to celebrate Christ, that there's still a little seed there, and I see it as hope that one day they're gonna finally have that encounter and be revealed the truth of Jesus Christ.
see, 100%. There's always hope, but you just want to shake them and say like, "Don't you know? Don't you know?"
Yeah.
Oh man. But that's interesting. I had no idea that that was the case.
So,
So now we know.
just to kind of wrap up this conversation, Denise, like I want to just remind our listeners and anybody listening to this that Christmas is not just a day, but it's a season. It's 12 days of Christmas, and
Mhm.
Christmas Day is just the beginning, of allowing Christ to be born into your hearts. I made that joke the other day of coming,
It's a heart's near you.
yeah, and it's that's the truth. If you think about it, Jesus was born literally in a cave. That's what most theologians believe. It was really a cave, and it's a reminder every 25th of December is Jesus living in my cave, which is my heart. Am I allowing him to enter my heart? Because if he enters my heart, he becomes the center of me. He becomes who I am. And um that should be the real reason we should be celebrating. So if you're listening to this, and I invite anybody to remember that Jesus is born in our heart and he lives with us, and the Christmas season, the 12 days of Christmas, is that a reminder that he's going to be with us
For
forever,
the next
for forever,
for the next year.
for the next year.
Because it's every Christmas is a reminder, a reminder, a reminder. And I think not a lot of us live in the moment. We're looking at the future, 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 but we have to just look one day at a time. And if you can put them in your heart at the center, like you were saying, one day at a time,
Yeah.
eventually that turns into eternity.
And the church is here to help you with that. That's why we come to mass at least once a week.
The reminder.
It's the reminder, because just like you at the beginning, you said, my life is so busy. I have so many things going on.
Mhm.
I think coming to mass at least once a week
Minimum.
is a time for us to slow down and say, okay, where am I at with my relationship with God? And kind of regroup or put everything into perspective. Am I living the life that Christ wants me to live? But it begins with that. It begins with Christ being born in our heart and us inviting him into our life, into our heart. Just like Mother Mary and Saint Joseph went around knocking on doors, and asking, is there space for us at your home, in your home? And some people said, no, there is no space. It's already preoccupied with blank, blank, and blank.
Mhm.
I think for some of us,
That's
that,
powerful.
that could resonate this Christmas season. If Jesus, Mother Mary, and Joseph knocked at our door. Is there space in our life for them to enter? Is there space in your heart for Jesus to be born this Christmas?
Amen. Yeah, that's a great way to finish it off. The end. Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us on this episode of Halo Talk. You can subscribe to our podcast through all the outlets that
Social media.
social media, all the places you can hear podcasts.
As we begin this new journey here with Halo Talk, we would appreciate any comments, any suggestions of topics you would want us to talk about. Just follow us, and we'll see you here again next week in our next episode.
See you then.
God bless.
The fans trying to show, let the light within you go. Together we will grow in faith, you'll always know. Halo Talk, spreading love around. Halo Talk, faith in every sound. Every step we take, hearts begin to wake. In this journey we partake. Listen to the